Hey there, RemPCs. Welcome to Rules of Cool, where we interview very special guests, creators, gamers, designers, and world builders. I'm your host, Rem, and today we're going to chat with returning guest, Sarah Moore, and her partner, Damon Vanhee. You may already know Sarah from her GenConTV show, Sarah's Table, but now she and Damon are back with their first Kickstarter project, a tabletop RPG called The Crowned, where you play a minor god of, well, anything, really. Carrots, whiskers, refrigerators, you name it. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss it. This week's giveaway is a free PDF of Shadowrun's 6th World Core Rulebook Seattle Edition. Type hashtag RemPC in the chat for your free entry to win. And don't forget we have new ways to enter our weekly drawing to win our giveaways and interact with the cast and characters in Shadowrun Emerald Glitch right here on GenConTV. We all know by now that you can type hashtag RemPC in the chat for a free entry to win, but now you can subscribe to the GenConTV channel, which gets you 5 entries to win and 4 edge to give to the player of your choice. But wait, there's more. Channel points can also be used to impact the game. 500 points gets a player of your choice a NERP, which is 3 extra dice. 1,000 channel points gets a point of edge to any player. And 2,500 channel points gets 4 points of edge to any player. But wait, there's more again. Bits can also be used to impact the game and get you bonus entries for the giveaway. So 100 bits gets you those NERPs and an extra entry to win. 200 bits gets you a point of edge to any player and 2 entries to win. And 500 bits or a sub gets you that 5 entries or 4 points of edge to give to a player. So come play with us, impact the run we're on, and we'll be ruling the streets in no time. Now, we also have some news in the Rem Alternus world. The relaunch of Mobius Worlds Publishing's Kickstarter, Nocturne by Night, launched this past Tuesday. The renowned superhero RPG Prowlers and Paragons is releasing an all-villains supplement to the Blood and Justice setting. You can follow the project at the link in the chat so you don't miss out. And that's mobiusworldspublishing.com/kick. Next announcement, if you love all of the Shadowrun content we do, check out our Patreon. We're releasing character sheets from the show, videos of character creation sessions, and even sneak peeks at upcoming Shadowrun audiobooks that we're producing for Catalyst Game Labs. The first one dropped this week. So head on over to patreon.com/remalternus to get in on all the bonus content. Now, time to get right into our conversation for this week, so stay tuned, RemPCs. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show, and I am here with my new friends. Well, one is old friend now. We've been friends for like 2 or 3 whole months now.
So long.
Yeah, like childhood friends at this point.
Obviously.
So Sarah, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. And
Awesome.
Damon, nice to meet you, new friend. How are you doing?
Nice to meet you too. Doing very well. Thank you for having me here. This is great.
Awesome. Well, I am excited to have you. I'm excited for this project. I've been hearing about it for months, and it's great to see it not only go live, but get funded as of today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few hours ago.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk all about The Crown today. That's the RPG. And then we'll drop the Kickstarter link in the chat so you can go support as well. And not only are we going to hear all of the behind-the-scenes fun stuff about the RPG, but also Damon and Sarah are going to play the game with Tom, our tech, myself, and Ava right after this interview. So that's going to be a lot of fun to check out. All right. Well, now, Sarah, we talked a little bit about your history with gaming the last time you were on. Can you remind everyone how you got started in your love of gaming?
Well, I got started loving it because I wasn't able to do it. I watched my older brother play with his friends. I didn't get to play. And then I finally was able to start playing. Actually, one of my first dates was like a 7-hour Star Wars RPG with my now husband. So
That's excellent.
yeah.
Best first date.
Best one. That's good.
And how about you, Damon? How did you get into gaming?
My mom got me into gaming actually when I was 6. She ran me through my first D&D session when I was very young, and she had run my older brothers through things. And yeah, it's a big gaming family, so I've been doing it for a really long time.
Best family ever. We got a best first
Yeah.
date and a best family. Oh, I love
good.
that. So playing since a kid. So you started with D&D, and then how did you kind of progress, Damon, to get to where you are now with creating your own?
Yeah, I started with D&D, like I said, at very young, 6, 7 thereabouts, and then played almost entirely that until like late junior high, when I picked up GURPS and like a bunch of World of Darkness stuff and Rifts and just kind of whatever I could get my hands on. A lot of Traveler, and just scooped up everything that I could. I'm from kind of a small town for most of my formative years, so I didn't have a lot of access to a bunch of different games. So as soon as I could really like get around on my own and buy my own stuff, then it was just playing everything that I possibly could.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. So, all right, leading up to your love of gaming, now tell us about The Crown. What is this?
Yeah, so The Crown is this is a big question.
It's a big question.
Big question. The Crown is really a game ultimately about player agency and freedom of choice for kind of whatever a player wants to do. Like, I always play characters personally that are really weird. Like I play against type really hard, especially in like D&D or Pathfinder or whatever. Like Pathfinder game that I'm in right now, I'm playing a rogue, but I took only the crafting class, feats, because I don't like playing as expected, and I really wanted to build something that supported that. So that is really where The Crown started. Yeah.
Cool. Sarah, what's your take?
I mean, I came into this process a little bit later. I read the first iteration of it because the first iteration was a novel. It was a NaNoWriMo novel that Damon had been working on. And he abandoned the plot because the plot was not fun. And he wanted to do things that were completely against type, as he said. And so instead it just became like a world setting, and then went through a couple of iterations. And I came in I don't know, a couple of years ago, Damon, 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, probably about then.
Yeah, and just like basically how I get all my jobs, I just like never left and was like, now you have to start paying me because I work here. So
Yeah.
So
it
yeah,
worked,
so
though.
it did work. Yeah, but it became this like the game for me at its core is about telling stories, and that's like such a huge part of how I story tell or game master like any game that I'm running. It's for me, it's way more about the story than it is about the mechanics. And so this felt like such a natural fit for me because it has this rich background to just tell like just wacky stories, which is my favorite. So
we've kind of gotten to hear that it started as like a freedom of choice and NaNoWriMo and that kind of morphed into a couple different iterations. But what is this world?
Oh, another big question.
Yeah, so you play gods in it. That's the easiest descriptor for it. Is you play a god of something kind of tiny, something that is seemingly innocuous, and then it's about how the players are creative and just within that divine purview. How can you take something like bubblegum and turn that into a useful character? And so that's what the game is about at the crux of it, and takes place in a vast mega city. Bunch of different genres can live in there. It's definitely got elements of heavy science fiction, kind of near future tech levels, but there's a lot of fantasy, and then depending on who's running it, there's some elements of horror. Sarah avoids those. I do not.
Yeah. This is where we sort of butt heads on it, because he's like body horror and I'm like sparkles. They both can coexist.
But we're gods, so if we get hurt, can't sparkles just come out of our wound sites?
I mean, it depends on what you're the god of, probably. but yes.
Awesome. All right, so where did this idea for play a god of something little come from?
Well, Sarah kind of touched on it a little bit. I was participating in NaNoWriMo one month, which is the National Novel Writing Month competition thing, if anyone's unfamiliar with it. And I was just writing and writing and writing, and I was up to like 85, 90,000 words. And I was like, this story isn't going anywhere, but I really love the world. And the whole time I was writing it, I was just thinking to myself, I just want to play games in this world. Like, the setting is great. So I just dropped the novel entirely, and then just started running my friends through the world with various different systems that I tried along the way, trying to find something that would kind of work for it, and couldn't find anything that dialed in the way that I wanted it to. So that's when I started writing the system on its own.
Ooh, so an original system. That's my next question. That was a beautiful segue. So what is this system and how does it work?
I don't know that we have a name for it or anything like that.
We haven't named it. We should name it. We should name it.
We should.
Yeah.
Sparkle horror.
Sparkle horror.
Yes. When you're
terrible.
When you're using the Sparkle horror system, it's D6 dice pools for most like challenge checks. Your regular skill checks, things like that. Combat is a D6 dice pool. But the thing that I think makes the Crown really special is the rote system. And when you're performing a rote as a god, it's basically a spell, for lack of a better term. And you decide the parameters of your rote ahead of time and in the moment. Things like damage and distance and how long you want it to last, all of those things. You as the player get to decide those ahead of time, and then you pay for those out of an Aether pool. So it's just like a one-to-one kind of point pay situation. And then once that's all designed, if you have the Aether to pay for it, it just works. Like, you're gods. You should be able to do whatever you want within that purview. So
that doesn't mean that there are not potential for complications of it, but that when you are firing off this quote unquote spell, it's going to affect the world around you. It will never fizzle. Something will always happen, which I think is
working
great.
and success are different.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. So it sounds like you said, if you can add power or range or these different aspects to it and kind of point by making it more powerful or long distance or whatever the case may be, it's kind of neat. I was kind of imagining as you were talking then, like shooting something really far, but it loses some of that power along the way because the farther you're reaching, you're spending your points on that rather than the power of the spell.
Yeah, potentially. It's definitely kind of a resource management bit when it comes to your Aether points. They don't replenish very quickly. It's not like some other games where you take a nap and then when you wake up, everything is back and you're full power again. That wouldn't necessarily work super well in this setting. But you have followers that power up your Aether, and the more followers you have, the more you get back each day, and the larger your overall pool becomes, and everything like that.
Neat. So it's also got that Tinkerbell element in it, where the more people that believe in you and clap their hands.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah. Putting the sparkle back for you,
to
Sarah.
Sparkles. Sarah's on my team.
I gotcha.
Friend is on my team.
100%. Though we did play 10 candles, so I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. So, talking a little bit about the Kickstarter, what does it feel like? My original question to you was, what does it feel like having launched your very first Kickstarter, but now I have to change it to what does it feel like having launched your very first successful Kickstarter?
Kickstarter. Whew. Yeah, I think we both like when it well, first of all, we called each other when when it funded and just like cried a little, and we were like really really excited and just like but then also like we were bouncing between like, oh my God, it's so exciting. Let's just sit down. Let's just sit for a second. We got us where we needed to go. And then like, oh, there's so much more that we have to do, and we have to start thinking about stretch goals, and we have to like it's been a roller coaster of a week for anybody who has ever done a crowdfunding campaign.
No idea.
I'm sure you know. But yeah, it's just like I'm super humbled and grateful that we were funded to 50% in like 5 hours. And it was insane. So we were just really, really excited about it.
That's so great. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. How about you, Damon? What was your reaction?
Mostly terror and stress for weeks and weeks. Just you have just huge bouts of imposter syndrome and just like wondering, is anybody even going to know that it exists? And like we're a new game company. This is our first Kickstarter. We did not have an established customer base. Like a lot of the things I feel like we had going against us, but we also called in every favor we possibly could, and we'll continue to do so.
Gonna keep doing it
forever and ever. Yeah, it was really, really great to finally get it launched, and then to just watch how quickly everybody came out to support the project, which was really spectacular.
Creatives support creatives, and people want to see you succeed and share in that. And so especially first projects, like we've had that experience as well. I remember the first Kickstarter we launched for the Chicago Shadows trailer. It was that stress and terror leading up to it. And then once you push the button to go live, I went catatonic. Like I was non-functional, and I was like, I can do nothing with my life except click the refresh button.
It's just refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was actually out in Seattle. I am Chicago based and Damon is Seattle based. And I was in Seattle for the launch day, and we just like sat on the couch, and we said we were going to like watch TV and do something else. But instead we were just like, where's it at now though? Where's it? What if we just check it again?
You can't ignore it.
Yeah.
I turned notifications on my phone thinking that would make it easier, and instead it just made me look more like whether or not I had a notification. I was just checking.
But what if I missed the notification? I should look just in case.
Yeah. Refresh button. Well, what if it didn't auto refresh? I'm going to click it anyway in case it didn't auto.
Exactly.
Yes.
What if there's lag time? I don't know. I got to figure this out now.
Right. Oh man. So what about before clicking the launch button? What was the process for like you said, Sarah, you've been around for 2 years, and that implies that it was even going on longer. What was the process for developing from start to finish?
Go ahead.
Okay. For the game, it was like I said, I started in other systems trying to find something that really worked. And each time I tried a different system, it got a little closer. And then I have a very patient gaming group where I was just like, okay, we're doing this one now. And then a few weeks in, I'd be like, no, this is crap, scrapping it. Like, we'll play in a couple of weeks once I have something new. And then I just started like homebrewing and rewriting, and like through pandemic times, I had a lot of opportunity to write because I was just staying at home. So eventually I had enough of the rules rewritten that I realized it was basically its own game at that point, and started trying to really like codify stuff specifically and with intention. And then Sarah was a fantastic sounding board, and mostly would be phone calls with her saying, okay, what about these 30 things? And then she would tell me the 4 that were good, and I would abandon the others, and then that then eventually became kind of her first job with the project, was just really helping me focus and hone in on the important portions and the good portions, because it's a lot of just word vomit when I write and design. So
Yeah.
thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
I get that. I'm seeing a lot of kindredness, Damon, because I'm not a writer. I'm a word vomiter.
Yeah.
And then I get frustrated and stop. So
Yeah.
I realized this sounds wrong, but bear with me. I'd be a better dictator. Like, if someone could take notes of the things I say that matter, that would be phenomenal. Not the dictator, like, no, not the other guy.
Yeah.
I actually learned pretty early in the process. Damon would call me and he'd go, I just want to talk through some stuff and just like listen and help me out. And then I would do that. And then he would be like, that I feel great. And then he would get off the phone and then he would text me and go, can you tell me what I said? And so I was like, oh, so then I started taking notes instead when we would get on the phone, because I was like, I'm not going to remember all of those things, but okay.
Samesies, Damon, same.
Yeah. It all sounds great when I'm saying it, and then it's gone 30 seconds later. So I'm the worst. Sorry.
You're not the worst. You're not the worst. You just, you think while you are pacing around and doing other things and talking out loud, that's when you work best with your ideas. And luckily for you, I love clipboards and lists. So we complement each other.
It's a good pairing.
I'm with you on the lists. I'm a to-do lister. I have several that I go through every day. So
yeah, same. I have a clipboard system because I have several jobs. So each job has its own color-coded clipboard.
I love you, and share all your secrets with me, because my to-do lists are also a source of my anxiety. So.
Yeah, sure. No, I get it.
Awesome. Well, I want to talk next a little bit about your collaborators, because my understanding is it's not just the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's close.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
So
go.
No, you go.
I'll go. So our artist is Tanel Lovett, who folks on GenConTV might know from Actoroki. She does all the live drawing for that. And I'm not going to say poached her, but we poached her. We were like, hey, what if you come and draw for our project? And it actually ended up being a surprise business meeting, because she was just going to come over and have lunch with me one day while I was out in Seattle. And then we were looking for an artist, and I was like, oh, wait. And then I invited Damon over, and it turned into a surprise business meeting. And by the end of it, she had signed on, and her work is so beautiful. Like, it's just gorgeous. And we keep being like, it's so good, maybe we could have more. And she's like, I mean, yeah. So we just keep going at him.
She's, by the way, for our audience as well, all the thumbnails that you see on GenConTV of the different shows, that's Tanel as well.
Yeah, I believe her title is, I think she's the art director of GenConTV, as a matter of fact.
I think she's, I think actually this week's thumbnail with the crowned image is one of my favorites that she's made for us. So
yeah, when she turned that in, she said, I know the artist, so I think you can probably use this. And I was like, oh, look at you.
Hooray.
Yeah, and she made the beautiful art that you are seeing behind Rem right now. That's a banner from our Kickstarter, as a matter of fact. So.
Is this going to be the cover, or?
No. Do you want to talk about what you want to do for the cover, or do we want to reveal that later?
I want to save that. I want to save that. Tanel is stewing on the cover and going back and forth. I don't want to take any of her thunder.
Anything she does is going to be phenomenal. This is.
It's always better than we think it's going to be. You know, like we describe in various hand gestures, and then she turns in things like that, and we're like, "Yep, that's it." Thumbs up. Yeah. Thanks so much.
I love that. That's really funny. So, Oh, go ahead.
We have a couple. I mean, we have 2 more team members.
Okay.
Damon, you want to talk about?
Yeah, we've got my younger sister Mariah is doing our editing. She's an editor professionally, and so I was very lucky to have that in family. She's editing, and then Sarah's partner Jeff is doing layouts. So it's
We
really
kept
like
it pretty close to home.
pretty tight.
That's
pretty
awesome.
tight. And then that's it. That's the entire team.
That's us.
So all 5 of you. That's great.
Yeah.
Super. So tell us a little bit about what is on the Kickstarter. What are the rewards that are available?
So you've got different versions of the book, PDF or print. We're doing all of our printing through ttRPG. We also have a small 10-card tarot deck that goes along with the game. There's different mechanics in the game for how you want to use that, and there's 10 is a really auspicious number in the world. So what sounded really great at the time on paper just gave 10 times the amount of work to me, because I have to do everything in 10 versions now, which is super good. So it's a 10-card tarot deck that you can also get on there as an add-on or in part of one of the bundles. We've got our the tier that I'm most excited about. We have all the tiers are named after gods, and we have one that is the god of donations, and basically it's you can get a book. Oh no, sorry, this is god of generosity.
God of generosity.
Yeah, we changed the name. The god of generosity is you get the book for yourself, and then you can also get a copy of the book to donate to an organization of your choice, be it like a local library or a school gaming club. We'll send it anywhere you want us to send it to. Put your name on it, however you want us to do it. That one's doing really well. We've also got a couple of tiers that are still open for some game sessions with either Sarah or myself running the games for you virtually. They'd be 2 sessions, and I think that they get everybody gets a PDF, and then one person gets a hardcover.
Correct.
I think. Yeah. And then
like whoever will end up being the storyteller after they play with us probably would get like the actual. Yeah.
And then our top tier that we have available is an in-person game at Gen Con, where everybody gets everything. Everybody gets all the books and the tarot cards and all of that stuff. And in case stuff isn't finished in time for Gen Con, or printed, I should say, in time for Gen Con, like you'll get copies of everything that we have done so far, all of the art. We'll print off essentially the completed book as it is at the time. And then you'll still get, the final version and everything like that.
Yeah, we had open tiers where you could design a god to go into the book, and we had only opened 2 of those tiers because they were pretty expensive, and they were bought immediately, like day 1 they were just gone, and so then
within the first hour they were gone.
We added 2 more because we thought, okay, that'll be like 2 more is great, and we thought this will last us a while, and those are also gone now. So there's 4 folk who are getting to design a god to be in the book, and they'll have cool. Have all their credits and everything, and then they also get a print copy of it, I believe, of the art that Tanel does.
That's awesome. So should our viewers watch that tier to see if any more might open up?
I mean, maybe
I'm gonna have that conversation with Tanel. I really want to open up more, and Tanel is very, very structured about her workloads,
which is great,
which is really good. But
boundaries.
I would like to.
Tanel is currently in the chat, and I'm telling her how much I love her. So you never know. She might let us do it.
Bribery of love will get you. Love it. Great. So we talked a little bit about the rewards, and now that you're funded, what are your thoughts on stretch goals?
We had them.
Yeah, we had them. We had a big meeting about it. Yesterday. What day is it? I don't know anymore.
No one does.
Nobody knows. So the first 2 are unlocked already, and you can view them if you are a backer. You can't, obviously go into it, but at 12,000, we're unlocking a module that we ran as a one-shot at Gen Con this year, called "I'm Not Licking Toads." just going to let that hang there. And then the second module unlocks at 15,000, and that is another full-length module called Training Day that we ran at both Gen Con and Pacificon this past year. And both of them will have pieces of art with them. And then we know what the following stretch goal is, but I don't think we have named it. Have we named it on the Kickstarter?
I don't know.
I don't know. We can name it now. We could say
All right.
now.
All right. Go.
All right.
Special
So
release.
special release. So at 20,000, we are releasing a book of modules. There are 10 districts in the city, and so there will be a module that is in each district, and so it is called the Shining Garden Travel Guide. And
Volume 1,
because you never know. So we'll be able to release all of those. If we get to 20,000, that'll be the next.
That's so exciting. Cool. Well, I wish you all the 20,000, 30,000, 150,000, and we'll be ready for this
I would also wish that. That would be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool. So, when do you expect fulfillment for the project to be complete? You mentioned like maybe if it might be ready by Gen Con, it might not.
Yeah, we've got it. We have it set on the Kickstarter for April of 2024, but most of that is padding for print reasons.
Yeah, we're concerned about how long printing takes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would rather shoot way out and then surprise everybody by getting it done early than be late at all.
Yeah.
So that's mostly what that is there for. So as soon as we have any PDFs done, those will get delivered, because I definitely want people to be able to play it. You don't have to wait for print delivery to do it. So as soon as we can get stuff done, we'll get it assembled and get it out there. It's about 80% written at this point. So a lot of the time after here is just editing and perfecting and art and layouts and stuff like that. So
Cool.
yeah, feel like we're
Awesome.
sitting in a good spot for it.
Yeah, good. That's great to hear and very encouraging to backers of Kickstarters.
Yeah.
So, what stories from playtesting stand out to you? Any fun moments? Like, I feel like there's something behind what happened with not licking a frog. But any of the stories, like what's a fun moment that you had at the game table while playtesting this?
I have one that sticks with me all the time, and it was actually not technically in this system. It was it was still with my main gaming group prior to the Crowns officially existing. But I had homebrewed basically everything that we were playing at that point anyways. But one of my players was playing the God of Municipal Laws, which I thought was he's got a doctorate in philosophy, so we were not surprised that he chose this as his purview. But I spent the whole time trying to think of how he could possibly use this in a really effective and smart way. And he just surprised me every game we had. He was so clever with it. One of the instances, they were outside the city in a vehicle on a really old dilapidated road, just busted, ruined road, completely impassable through a forest. But they needed to get where they were going. And so he thought to himself, I'm clearly not the god of cars or travel or roads or anything that is even slightly useful. But he did point out that the road beneath the car was not up to code. And so the route that he did was to make the road only beneath the car up to code as they drove across it. And so they had just a perfect, a fresh paved road just underneath the car, could drive all through the forest, and it just crumbled to dust behind them. And that was one of the moments where I was like, all right, if players are going to get this clever with it, it really needs to be a thing that I can share with as many people as possible. So that really stands out for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sarah, how about you?
Okay, so I have run the game more than I have played it. And I think at Gen Con, we did a play test, and one of the players was playing the God of Squirrels. And the very first thing she did, like we started the game and we hadn't really even gotten very far, and she essentially conjured an emotional support squirrel for another character and just like handed it out. Like they were distressed, so she was just like, I'm gonna do this, and then just like handed the squirrel off to them. And they were like, I don't know why this makes me feel better, but it does. So all right. It just like being able to see all the different stuff. Also, we got into a fight in a nightclub and one of our characters turned into a donut. So
Yeah.
Tell me more about this. Like, that's not enough information for me.
Well, they were playing the God of Donuts.
Okay.
And one of the things that they did was they like manifested like Michelin Man donuts sort of all around them to protect them. And then they just like went bouncing through the nightclub in the fight, and they had padding so that they wouldn't get hurt as they were trying to make their way through. Just wacky. I mean, yeah.
I love it because I sometimes from playing with you and from watching Sarah's table, I like channel my inner Sarah. And, like I can just imagine your reaction, like, yeah,
yep,
that just happened. Like,
we're doing it. I'm behind you. I always say I'm gonna run the game that you want to play. So if the game you want to play is being a donut, like I got you. Yeah.
If only we were what we eat, because donuts.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So anything else that you want to say about the process, the product, what this means to you as a Kickstarter, where people can learn more?
Yeah, all of those things.
Yes, talk.
Speak. Off you go.
God of talking.
God of
I'm
talking.
just really, oh, that's good. God of talking. All right. I like that one. We'll have to put that in. Personally, I'm just really excited for people to play the game. Like every new table we have with new players, they're so excited afterwards. They're just elated to have something like this in front of them. Like I when I was writing it, I thought it was good and I thought people would like it, but the response that we have gotten genuinely has exceeded expectations so much. It's really just wonderful and heartwarming to see people get that much joy from something that I've had my hands on. And so that's definitely been like the best part of this whole thing, just people having fun and enjoying the stories that they're telling with this.
Yeah. But I'm gonna jump in and almost kind of steal the interview just a tiny bit. I love you, Rem.
Right.
I just wanted to know, Damon, what is it like to watch a table play that you are not involved in?
Oh, it's great. That was actually the moment, the first game that I was not involved in at all was the moment that I thought for the first time that I had made an actual game, like with a capital G, because it's most of my GMing style, my storytelling style is done from like stacks of notes and napkins. Like I'm just a very chaotic kind of storyteller. And so when it was finally in a book form, we had printed out everything for people to have. We handed out books at the table, and Sarah was running. I was not playing. I just got to sit and watch everything happen. It just felt like watching anyone play a game. Like it felt completed. And that was, for me, that was a really great like moment of validation for just the Crown in general. So that was great. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for doing
my
that.
heart just grew 3 sizes.
We had a little Grinch moment. It was so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the link to the Kickstarter probably going to be in the chat. Already in there. Nice. And you can check out our website at formerlyferalgames.com. This is definitely not the last product that we are going to be putting out because we can't help ourselves. So we already have more stuff planned that's within this universe and potentially, in other other universes as well. And we are on all of the socials. On Twitter, we're formerly_feral. On Facebook, we are formerly feral games. And on Instagram, we are the Crowned RPG. And you should follow us in all those places because we sometimes post clever things.
I love your honesty reasoning for follow us because this very honest thing.
Listen, because sometimes we say things that are worth listening to, and we appreciate the people who stick around for the days then when we're like, I don't know, this is my coffee. So
God of honesty.
Sometimes you gotta. And somebody in the chat just said Seattle-based game design. Damon is based out in Seattle. I was gonna say, I guess just over 50% of the team is based in Seattle. The other half of us are based in Chicago in the same house. That's fine. But we just sort of, as often as we can. I mean, things are wildly busy right now. But as often as we can, we support other indie game designers, and we share and other projects that we find really inspiring and interesting. And so come and find us on those platforms.
So not only can you find formerly feral games at all of those locations, but where can people follow you guys to learn more and stalk you?
Oh, Damon is not a social media person, but I'm gonna let him go first because mine is a paragraph. So you go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, Sarah actually covered mine. I run a Twitter account for formerly feral, so it's formerly_feral on Twitter, and then I am on Facebook and Instagram, just under my name.
And Twitter. You have a Twitter with your name.
I do have a Twitter with my name. Also, I'm very bad at social media, as Sarah tells me all the time. But I'm trying.
He's trying. You're doing great.
So,
really proud of you.
If you track me down, I will probably post things occasionally. No promises, though.
Yeah. Correct. You can find me on Facebook at Actress Sarah Moore. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Ko-Fi and TikTok at Pixies and Pins. You can find me on my website at pixiesandpins.com. And then also every Friday night, I am here on twitch.tv/GenConTV for Sarah's Table at 5 p.m. Pacific. And this week we are playing The Crowns. So, yeah. So
you get
come back tomorrow. So much Crowned. We're also tomorrow on Table Takes talking about The Crowned. And then on Sunday at 10 a.m. I'm on Perception Studio chat time with Cucumber at twitch.tv/Perception Studio. And I'm going to talk about The Crowned again because I'm just going to talk about it forever.
That's another thing about Kickstarters is for the length of your Kickstarter, every day of your life is about the Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yes. Forever. That's okay.
Yeah,
we've got 27 days left.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So everyone should go check out the Kickstarter link that is in the chat. Thank you, Billy Berserker, our mod, for being on top of all of the links, and thank you two for creating and bringing such energy to the community and creating a game that people are Sarah, your phrase joyful gaming is
we're spreading it around.
Yeah breaking out of the Sarah's Table and getting into formerly feral, and next week the world
taking over the galaxy. We're trying.
So stay tuned, everyone. We will be back with a short message after this, followed by an actual play of The Crown with our new friends. So stay tuned. Coming up next, you get to experience The Crowned in action as we play the live game with Sarah, Damon, and others from the Realm Alternus community. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Don't forget that we have a wonderful giveaway of a free PDF of the Shadowrun 6th World Core Rulebook, Seattle Edition. Thank you so much to Catalyst Game Labs for donating such a great prize. Enter to win by typing hashtag RemPC in the chat. And don't forget to get bonus entries and impact the game by donating bits and subs in chat. All funds will help us pay our cast and crew and keep producing great content. And did you know we have more shows like Shadowrun Emerald Glitch and the One Shot Show on our Twitch channel? We stream 5 to 6 days a week over on twitch.tv/masterofrem, including the Dresden Files RPG, Shadowrun 5th Edition, Shadowrun 6th Edition, Steampunk Fantasy D&D, and more. So check us out and give us a follow. Thank you all for joining, and we'll see you next time, RemPCs.